Rancho Santa Fe farms thrived. A bleak tad unto Avenada and Sargentis, Tom Gildred is potentially involved with a criminal domestic cover-up. I'm Michael Foster. This message is for information only and is not intended to misrepresent any facts of relevance. A planned manipulation of the local media is that keystone element of organized crime and innocuous blue-collar crime bosses. It's called covering your asses, in the hopes of the person who is intended for it to attack, that probably that person would attack the media. Wrong against Tom Gildred. Tom Gildred, you're a fart, and you have dragged your beautiful wife into being a lover of life than you first sought her to be. Carolina, otherwise, is a good person who's got herself into that spot, which forces her to use her talents as that defense mechanism. As for Tom Gildred, instead of letting her go freely, you had her wings clipped with fear and long-lasting danger for her own existence. You use a therapist to push her button into joining you in hopes that you and her together could push my buttons to an edge of emotional insanity. Shame in the good what was left in Carolina also. Shame on you, Tom Gildred. Shame on the Gildreds of San Diego. It's your civic duty to take responsibility, and now it might be too late. I am only but a man. I got caught up. I cared, and when I became in disbelief of Madame Carolina after she properly seduced me into being her lover and confidante, that I don't want to dwell on now. It's just honestly shameful and embarrassing to say the least. I was fine with sleeping with a cat on a couch in a living room in Pacific Beach, but you had to upgrade me to a luxury hotel. I was okay with one trip, but you had to plan a second and a third. I was okay with economy seating on the airplane, but you had to upgrade me. When I became in disbelief of you, I was not only ashamed and demoralized, I also felt like giving up, as if it was all over. It's disgusting to construct a theory as it was all business or dance studio making. Shame. What a shame. Then in all my disbelief, I gave you a thread of hope, in effect to set you apart from your own emotional self-abuse. But for you and Tom Gildred, that wasn't enough. You both felt that Tom Gildred's name is still at risk. So you took that seed of fate, a white flag of stupendous rhetoric of a man's soul's brokenheartedness, and took that white flag of hope, and like the dogs Tom Gildred and his family are, you came all the ways to New York City to attack an already seriously wounded prey with something you called a lawsuit. But how so, Carolina? How so, Tom Gildred? I'm not having sex with either of you. Neither is every time you have sex, you're thinking about me. Okay. But Tom Gildred, what idiot tries to trademark his own common name, such as Tom Gildred, and in yourself truly believes it's worth trademarking? Is that for free, Tom? Why trademark your name your mother gave to you, buddy? Seriously. Do you really think you're smarter than a Foster? I would like to end now by reading a message I sent to you, Carolina, on October 9th, 2016. It was on my mother's birthday. You did not reply. Instead, a week after, you saw it unique to sign your sworn affidavit in denial of our events of sexual encounters and register your sworn statement on my birthday. How much do you needed that extra effect? Sorry, Carolina. I don't love you. And thank God, when we did have sex, I did it only for you. You saw it was still dry. But thank you anyway. It's still definitely better than doing the ass wipe of Tom Gildred's fickled ass puss or hind puss, whatever. So I want to share with you that which phone is it on? Jeez. Yeah. Unbelievable. So I want to read it to you. Your absenteeism, it was sent to you on October 9th. That's my mother's birthday. Shame on you, girl. Your absenteeism are going on for too long. Who would have thought you had all that constructed, right? Jeez. You're denying every moment we have shared in this part of our adult lives. It's left for me to avoid and think the worst of you. And that's not fair. It will be worse than doing a letter you've asked me to do. That's the letter you asked me to retract. Because you and Tom were at the therapist and I don't know, somebody, why didn't you just say what's going on? You know, whatever. You needed me to retract the letter. The damn letter I told you to take to another therapist. Because obviously if you and him seen a therapist and he did what you did or what you say he did, why would you take it to the same damn therapist? You take it to another therapist. Because that therapist is allowing him to do whatever he wants with you. Obviously there's lots of mix up there. But that's not my thing. That's you and him. Right? I told you what to do and I told you the right thing. It's my civic duty to suggest to you what is the right thing. Whatever. Anyway. You're denying every moment we have shared in this part of our adult lives. It's left for me to avoid and think the worst of you. And that's not fair. It will be worse than doing a letter you've asked me to do. It's not as it seems. Have I ever let you down? Do I really deserve this level of treatment? Even so, will you not have the courage to tell me the reasons? Am I that much a statistic in your life? Have I hurt you, lied to you, hurt your family, lied to your family, hurt any of your friends, lied to them? Haven't I shared all of me with you? My dreams, goals, enthusiasms, my personality, my loves, my past fears, and my wishes or promises? Have I suspended them? Have I neglected you? Haven't I ever answered to your every call? Haven't I listened to you well enough to understand what is important to you? What are your dreams and promises? Haven't I stood in a place or time when you couldn't find another soul to be in front defending for you? Haven't I held you close enough to you so you would forget the world and the troubles which may have been associated with Tom and his inadequacies? Haven't I kept a secret for you? Am I not worth remembering, the gentlest of a soft kiss, Carolina? When have I done you wrong? Where? What time? You slept like an angel gently on my chest. You became weak for the trust you have found inside of me. Have I abused that trust? Have I held it against you? Have I used it to say it or about it to a friend, Tom, a friend of Tom, his lawyer, a shrink, or Deborah? And if that thought is exacted, wouldn't it suffice both doubt and truth? The truth is the only freedom to trust because it always sets us free. Free of headaches, pains, and tell me the truth, Carolina. What might be the cause of this pain, as it's only just this one concern. And if it suffice, then I will have no doubt that you are right, that it is the truth you will tell me. But the truth for our doubts doesn't need time. Time can never heal some things, Carolina. Time will never heal these hurts your neglecting is causing us both. Granted, it's not a concern of your need lately, perhaps never. There are the painkillers of our time. The pill is so strong it can cause you to forget, not having to feel or think about an emotion. Tom failed you. A love that's tarnished by that level of failure can never have rebirths. You have also failed yourself, but you did that with a promise. That half of the promise is left with me, Carolina. It's up to you. And it's up to me to decide to become a failure to you. You cannot inflict this notion by constantly neglecting Michael. It would be wrong to choose to fail you based on doubt, speculations, or unconfirmed truth. Well, that's not the case now. I mean, you have a signed bloody affidavit saying X, Y, Z and whatever. I mean, I'm not Jesus. I'm not going to look into the soul of anybody over there. I mean, God, if I used to use expletives, I would have been riddling them out all now. I mean, oh my God. I will end with these words, Carolina. I, Michael Foster, is a bigger man than the words he'd use, a stronger man than the weaknesses he presupposes, and a healthier mind than the thoughts such as your neglect brings to his heart and his soul. I pray for you, and I pray for myself, and I pray for you. It has nothing to do with any of your children, past ex-affairs or lovers, and most certainly it will be giving Tom Gildred too much credit if it had something to do with him. I'll be dancing soon. Boy, but never to have danced again even close to the dream of our dance together. I look for your response, or I wait in your neglect for as long as I could withstand. How long, I just don't know, if I'm past the stage of emotional recovery. My sanity is intact, and thank God for that, because this level of effect could have offset the most alerted mind unsuspectingly. Enjoy your evening. Sincerely, Michael Foster. Smiley face. October 9, 2016. Not a response. Well, God bless you. And I sincerely hope you're enjoying your life, because you certainly fricked the hell up my life. And I cannot understand your level of pursuit between yourself and Tom. Tom I have no problem with, because I know he's a natural failure. Yourself, I feel real bad for you. I wish I knew what to do to help you. But judging from the fact that you've been living with a perverted ex-psychiatrist clone, that you even got him to document some dumbass letter based on what your guy Seth Rafkin put in there. And Seth Rafkin himself, he's not a well guy, you know. A clerk bent over the other day. She's well dressed in the court, and he just, unbeknownst to anything and anybody else, he just stood up real quickly. I mean, what are you gonna see? What are you gonna see? You're at the court. Does this guy have a wife? I mean, these people have so much hidden agenda. It's unbelievable. It's disgusting. It's sickening. It's so sickening that he would juxtapose himself physically outside the court in hope that I would approach him, because probably where he comes from, the average black guy he runs into would have knocked him out already. I don't have to get physical with these guys. I wouldn't lower myself to their standard. But we're going to see where it goes, step by step. I'm pissed off. Am I pissed off? Of course I'm pissed off. Right? But what's life? You think about it, you know, we dance, and in 3.5 minutes, we dance a lifetime. And what are you guys trying to protect? The shame of a failed marriage? Come on. I mean, I wouldn't want to be with a woman under the circumstances. And a woman, if she has any moral or integrity, she wouldn't be with a man under those circumstances. Whatever it is what it is. I don't know. I'm not out there. I have no intention of relating with you guys out there. Right? But I would pray that the court would find a way to show the recompense that is deserving to me, because it's just beyond atrocity to assimilate the compendium of circumstances and how you were able to construct everything from the media and the newspaper and to pick a few things and turn it around and to make claim of a police. Anybody can make a police report, but it's a different thing when you make a police report and you hinge it with something of something of something of something. Because the police report is not concerned about something of something of something, and the public in general doesn't not concerned about something of something of something. So Tom Gildred's got his game going on, but why pick on me? There's bigger fish out there to fry. You know, what is he going to get from me? I'm not going to help him to understand it's stupid to try to register a trademark in a name such as Tom, check it out, Tom Gildred. Get real, man. There's no particulars in that name that allows it to be translated into some kind of product or service. It shows that something's not right up there. And I'm not consulting you, but obviously, I don't know what you have with the various attorneys, but I'm sure you're paying some money. Why is it worth it? What are you gonna get? I promise you right now, you're not gonna get to my mind. No way. Right? And then what you're constituting is completely frivolous, nonsense, garbage. And you gotta own up at some point in time and say, hey, how can we find a way to laugh about this thing? I'm not promising we can ever really laugh about this, you know, because you've taken it too far, right? You're like one of those, not a lobster. Well, lobster is the same thing, crayfish, lobster, you know, the thing that has the feces in its head. That's how you're operating, because you're just following the damn coconut. You don't want to verify something. You could say, hey, Mike, what's happening, man? ABC, 1, 2, 3. We laugh about it. No, you want to believe something, and she want to believe something because she's Miss Psychotic. Well, you all are wrong. Very, very wrong. And the corrupt method in which you're using to institute that wrong makes it even worse. Right? I tell you this. Don't ever look for me to react to you in a physical way. It's not a part of me to do that. And if you want me to say something to you that could affect or hurt you, it wouldn't make a difference on how I'm communicating with you right now. Because if there is a logic and there is something consistent with what I have to say, I would express it. And I don't care what lore you find that could say I am not supposed to tell you you're an idiot. As the Lord liveth and I have breath in my, I prefer to tell you you're an idiot and get shot for it than to suppress that expression in a way that my mind cannot relate with it as who I am and how I feel. And lucky for me, towards you, I usually have logic, right? I don't need to drum up stories. I don't need to do that. There's a great world of reality and nature. And if I see and I understand, then I express. And of course, your desire is to convolute that expression. I say that you're wasting time in doing that, whether it be use of law books or concocting some kind of criminal fear that you think you need to have something to fear about, or however you do it. You can say, I say, you could fabricate an email, you could misinterpret some kind of thing you heard or you heard of whatever. It's all nonsense, right? The only thing is that when you paint it with a brush that is filled with greenbacks, so to speak, you put some money into it, and you say to Mr. James Tom O'Harry or a deceitful lawyer that believe this because I'm paying you to believe this, then that's a different story, right? I am saying that mano a mano, that's not correct. And it's a shame because there is that little possibility that that is how you have lived your life. And if you have lived your life like that, it means that you are well set in your ways. It's written in your hard drive. And you're prepared to spend whatever it takes to think that it's okay to register the name Tom Gildred as a trademark. When people think of you, they think of you as a service. Good luck. Good luck to you and Miss Carolina Gildred, but I'm pretty sure there is some recompense that needs to meet you guys' way, whether in this life or the life after, because you've screwed me too well. And I'd like to say I'm the only person to be blamed. But if I had a chance to do it all over again, I would do the same thing. I would tell her, one, go to the police. I would believe her if she shared that level of affection with me. And if I slept with her and I had sex with her, it would have been because I respected her to a certain degree. And by that time, I would have done all I could to communicate with your Mr. Tom idiosyncrasy. Don't get too excited, right? The act of sex is the act of sex. But there is that thing of lust that comes way before sex, right? So don't say you want to blame me or blame her or whatever. You just got to get to the reality of it. So all this shenanigan as to what's happening now, for me, I got to heal myself and go forward. For me not to make a mistake like that, it would me being insidious by constructing a theory that, hey, it was a mistake. Well, how the hell it was a mistake, right? If I would figure that out as a mistake, then it's like figuring out every apple is a bitter or sour apple. And frankly, the reasons why an apple is bitter or sour is because the concept of your taste bud could interpret that way. For somebody else, it might be sweet. So when you get into the business of trying to rationalize why things shouldn't be, it doesn't make any sense. Because naturally, once you're not inflicting a physical and intentional emotional harm upon yourself or on someone else, and especially if something has to do with a normal civic duty. It is my civic duty to want to relate a certain way without disclosing emphatically the emotion that is causing it, right? We don't just run out there and tell the world that I am trying to figure certain thing out because of certain things that have had happen personally. People look sick in the street because they have cancer. They don't always wear a t-shirt to say they have cancer. And even if they do, not everybody could read it as they have cancer, right? But they'll be sick in the street and they have cancer. What I'm getting at is that as a man, as an adult man with some financial disposer at your that you can use, you use it to something that would benefit, and you don't use it to position yourself to destruct and destroy something that would generate and benefit another phase of humanity. I'm not a San Diegan, right? And frankly, San Diegans could do with more crop growth of individuals like myself. Because I cannot believe San Diego, in all its prosperity, can continue to prosper because of guys like Tom Gildred, period.